said that there was work we would be doing to move people to deal with those queues so that we could facilitate voting quickly. A lot has happened since he said that. And I don't want to bore you with the details, but I think, there is evidence right here before us which we can share. It's just not in a manner that we can put there. But what does that evidence say? It says, since we got the approximately 70,000 staff members that were going to come into stations for counting later, around 9, that we brought them early and we began to handle those queues. Since then, and I don't want to suggest there was a method. Anecdotally, every 30 or so minutes, we've been watching what was happening. And I'm glad to share with you that shortly after 9, to be exact, at 21:47, in other words, 21 hours 47 minutes, we had 8,873 stations closed. In other words, whose business was completed. At 22 hours 18 minutes, more or less 30 minutes later, that number had increased from 8,800 to 11,332. At 22 hours 46, that number had increased from 11,332 to 13,133. At 23 hours 20, that number had increased from 13,133 to 14,650. At 23 hours 52, that number had increased from 14,650 to 16,768. The number, as you can see, of stations that are now closing and processing results, in fact, counting and processing results, has been increasing at a phenomenal rate. The point we are making is there is no panic. There is no, the work is not happening haphazardly. The Commission is hard at work, as we have indicated we will do. And we want to thank you for your patience and understanding. We do not take it for granted. The second point I want to make is that the additional staff in areas where the stations have closed, they are in fact counting. We do not wait as a general rule for everything to be closed and then start everything counting. There are many stations that closed on time and started counting on time, as will now be evident. The third issue is the issue of slower queues and their causes. We have heard questions being asked, many of them very speculative, in fact almost all of them. Very speculative. Is the turnout high? Was this a problem? Was that a problem? And we understand that, those are the kind of things when things are not so clear, we will ask questions about. But these issues we will now have the opportunity to look into, because we will have the results, and the results will give us an indication of some of the challenges that we may have faced in the day. The same thing is true for the fourth point we are raising here tonight, voter turnout. Many people said, tell us what that voter turnout is and so on and so forth. We could have told you how many people more or less we have processed, but that is not the same as voter turnout. We are now going to talk about voter turnout. When the results come, Each one of them will tell you what the voter turnout in those stations or in the affected station would have been. And right at the end, we would then be able to compute voter turnout overall. And that would help you deal with the issues that you were raising. It is at this point that we want to share good news with you and say, those of you that are faithful and are here this evening will now see the first result coming through. I want to emphasize that this is not a result that comes through because you've just been waiting here. I know those of you that are, on the side, on both my left and my right, you know the results process pretty well. You understand the results account, the results slip is finalized at the voting station. Party agents and observers sign. It is taken to a site where it will be received, recorded, the results slip scanned, results captured, audited, and if there are no exceptions at all, the results will directly come on screen. That on its own, it's a fair process that takes time. The fact that we come now and say the first results are ready to come through tells you that work has never stopped. It has always continued as we expected it to. And so, ladies and gentlemen, for your patience, for staying the course, the first results will be issued. And that result comes from the Eastern Cape. What did you say, sir? It isn't a choice. We simply say what we want to make. We are going to be processing results very incrementally. I'm told it comes from Winnie Madikizela Mandela municipality at Mbizana Baptist Church. I repeat, Winnie Madikizela Mandela municipality at Mbizana Baptist Church. I believe the guys are ready to let that result roll on. Thank you very much. This board is now going to get active, but please don't go home now and say the results have now all come through. It's the first. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hello. No. No. But this was TV.
No, I would have.
You would have. You don't like.